three filmmakers with nothing in common. They thought they had it all figured out. They don't just follow the movies, they make them. Alexander Pavlak, Mario Silvas, and Jamal Alexander are the makers on film.
Told you how much I love you guys for doing this.
What?
No.
I love you guys for doing this.
No. I think you need to tell us, every couple of days or so.
I think some sloppy hand jobs are in order.
Yeah, right. I hate my cats.
Why do you automatically assume they're sloppy?
Because they're always sloppy.
Yeah, dude, it has to be sloppy. It's not. It's just
Okay. When have you ever received a neat hand job?
exactly. Or not a resentful one. I mean,
Or a good one?
yeah.
This is going to sound really weird. 9 years ago, in the parking lot of a school, don't ask me who it was with.
Was this person a student of the school?
No, hell no. No, but it was the closest, basically it was the closest parking lot we could find at the time, because we were driving
Really?
home.
You could a Fry's or like Safeway or something go around to the loading dock. Like, it's well lit. It's safe back there.
No. It's just it was the closest thing.
It's not a felony when you do it in the back of a
Yeah.
Fry's.
Yeah, it's just oh shit, this is an awkward conversation. We got caught.
Well, no, I didn't realize it until after whatever had happened.
Yeah, how did you not see the stone face looking at you like, oh my god?
Oh no, this was 3 a.m, and we're driving on our way home. And
so
this is
trespassing. Okay.
This is really the security guard's fault for having left the gate up.
Something was up.
Yes, the security guard's fault, not the horny middle-aged people's fault.
Yeah.
And I was
I'm pretty sure the security guard was looking at you guys.
Don't get me wrong. I've done it to me and that same person did it in her car in the middle of a cul-de-sac once. So I'm not opposed to doing it in weird places.
Wait, did you guys specifically park in the actual of a cul-de-sac, or did you guys park off to the side in the cul-de-sac?
It was a weird cul-de-sac. They had a little park in the middle. You know how a cul-de-sac you go in and there's the loop there? They had a little park in theirs. And so there's little parking lots.
Dude, are you an exhibitionist?
No, but I'm fairly sure she was, because as soon as we were done and we were trying to reposition into the front seat, she actually gets out Donald ducking, only a shirt on, and then walks around the car in not broad daylight. This is again 3 a.m.
I thought you meant Donald ducking she was waddling because you went to town on her.
A little bit of that too. At least I like to think so.
Yeah, Jamal went to town for 3 minutes. Woo!
3 minutes that rocked her world.
And how long ago was this, did you say? 9 years ago?
9 years.
That girl was 9 years ago, yes.
And that was the last time he ever saw a boob. Or did you never get that far?
Well, again, she was Donald ducking that one time, but no, it was not. How is your mom, by the way?
Yeah, he's obviously talking to you, Mario.
Oh, I was like, I don't give a fuck.
I just threw that out there. I don't know which one of you was gonna pick it up.
Here's the thing. I haven't had my coffee yet, so all of you can go suck a dick. I'm just saying that right now. And then literally in 6 minutes, then I will start insulting you.
You take your time and you think of something really good.
That'd be worth the wait.
We'll just hold off the show until he comes up with something that's good.
For 3 minutes.
So we might be here for a while.
Yeah, you're gonna be here for a while. There we go. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. Chocolate brownies.
Why, thank you.
No, you're donkey shit brown. There's a difference.
Oh,
He's slowly waking up.
Slowly, yep. Oh, it's so pretty in the sunlight right now. Okay. Oh, so I'll actually send you guys pictures. I went on a pirate cruise the other day, yesterday. Not but pirate asshole.
What now?
It's funny that you say the phrase "not but pirate asshole" because it just shows how anally fixated you really are.
Dude,
Because
butts are awesome.
nobody said that.
Dude, butts are awesome.
I have to agree.
See?
Well, you two can play with your butts all you want.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
Sit, the guy who picked the thing from last week because he has the thing. By the way, I've had time to think about it, and I believe that such a thing exists only because you tell me it exists.
Well, I'm glad I could be the ambassador for sex addicts to Jamal.
No,
But
I'm just I happen to be very proud of you for having sought help.
Thank you. Was there any questions you have that I could answer for you?
Like, where do you go to meet though?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Like, you go to like routinely every week?
To a meeting? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Like, is
Yeah,
this like a once a week thing, twice a week thing?
well, I choose to go once a week, but I could go more if I needed to. And there is at least 2 meetings going on in Tucson every day. There's usually one in the morning for people who need a place to go before work, and then one for people who need to go someplace after work.
Wait, it's not at that place that Phil teaches acting. That place Jeremy took you that one time, is it?
That
Like the
old
historic lot?
YMCA? No.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything going
I
on.
I have a feeling there's like, because I know right before our classes used to start, they had like this group of just like odd people walking in. So I have a feeling there's like one of those groups there.
yeah, those are the heroin addicts.
Yeah, probably.
It's
They're very
probably,
nicely dressed.
well, then it's not heroin. If they're nicely dressed, they're probably either alcoholics or. Dude, you could at
God
least
damn!
muted
What the hell is
yourself.
that? Did not need to hear you go into the can like that, bro.
Shut up. It's about to be in my mouth in a minute.
Get your head out of the bowl and just flush.
Yes.
I was pouring it into my fucking thermos so I can have an entire liter of coffee while I listen to you assholes at 8:30 in the morning. 9 in the morning at this point.
9. Oh, yeah,
Nine
you're listening.
time, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I was an asshole last week. I was like, oh, yeah, let's do it at 9 a.m. And then Alex texted me at 8:30 this morning. Hey, you awake? And I'm like, suck a dick, old man. That's my only thought.
Oh, that was just me. Mario was me in the morning. Alex, you still there?
I'm still here, yeah.
Okay.
I love you.
I know you do, that's the problem.
Wait,
Oh,
so
get in my mouth. Yes.
I think you need to attend those meetings now. So wait, do you guys have like sponsors and stuff like that?
I'm actually looking for one currently.
Okay, nice. Is there like
what
a
does a sponsor do? I've never really understood that part. Like across the board, I've never really understood that.
You never
don't you
understood
get
what?
don't you guys like call them?
Like the sponsors. I never understood what the sponsor does or who they are, the attachment to the person.
Basically, you get a sponsor, and then they're the ones. It's like a responsibility buddy. They're the ones who make you go through the steps and make sure you're doing them. You don't really have to do it in a timely fashion. You just have to do them, and it's something that if you're having a craving, you can call, or somebody that that you can rely on for help or advice or whatever. Somebody who's gone through the program, who's done all 12 steps, and who has a pretty good knowledge about how the whole thing works, and somebody who is sober. So.
Huh. Okay. That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into this because Mario is slowly waking up.
Hang on, let me finish the Daredevil trailer here.
Okay. Is it a new trailer?
Yes, it's a brand new trailer. Just came out today.
Nice.
You guys want to check it out?
Wait, they're coming out with a Daredevil movie?
No,
Season
it's the new.
2.
Yeah.
Oh, I completely forgot about that thing. Yeah, I'll do that later.
I'd give it a look. We can talk about it. It's already looking pretty good.
Yeah, but then I have to type YouTube into my browser.
Oh, you poor thing.
Thank you.
I know, right?
All right, season 2, Daredevil. Actually, I still need to finish season 1. I have like 1 episode left.
What are you waiting on? Have you watched the Jessica Jones?
I just haven't done it. Yeah, I like it. I like Jessica Jones a lot. I'm watching Better Call Saul right now.
I gotta finish that. I got about halfway through.
I honestly, I don't know how, but I didn't know that it was on Netflix. And my friend, she's like, "Dude, you gotta check it." I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, it hasn't been on.
I watched it the other day.
It hasn't been on that long. It's only been on for like a week or 2.
Yeah. And she she saw the entire series like day 1. She just blew through it.
But yeah, that first episode, the first pre-credit sequence was just amazing.
Holy shit, it was so good.
I know, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Better Call Saul, and then I don't know if I want to do Breaking Bad again, but I do want to rewatch a series. I think I'm gonna do House of Cards again.
God damn, that looks great.
Wait, so who's the villain in the new Daredevil?
There's no actual villain, just an adversary,
That's
Punisher.
I wasn't too sure if they actually like named somebody or not.
Well, they're probably going to have somebody in the background because even though he's kind of an anti-hero, I doubt he's going to be the main heavy for the whole season.
Yeah.
I think what it is, because they show that she's right at the end of the trailer, Elektra is there. So they may not have a heavy, but they may have 2 anti-villains going at the same time.
God, that was such a shitty movie.
There's that, and
God damn,
there was talk of having Bullseye.
See, if it wasn't Colin Farrell that was doing it, I think it would have been good.
Had it been anybody doing
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The only thing good about the Daredevil movie was the costume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a place.
Yeah, actually, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, there was a place who sells like motorcycle suits that look like superhero suits, and they were doing the Daredevil one for a while, and I really wanted it. It was everything too: the boots, the gloves. The only thing they didn't do was the mask.
Shocking. Here, get on a 150 mile an hour motorcycle, and put a mask on. You'll be all right.
You know what else is shocking? How much Deadpool took in over the weekend?
127 million?
People are saying
could
it's really
be
good.
135.
Okay, so the last I saw was 127. That's what it took in this weekend.
So for perspective, that's as far as non-sequels go, that's second only to the Avengers.
Yep. But the thing is, that's just opening weekend. Like, it's gonna blow everything out of the water. Honestly, within the first month of the release, it's gonna blow everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually got tickets to go see it on Tuesday.
It doubled its production budget in one weekend. Because this is a low budget film, actually, like 60 mil.
Yeah.
You know what I think really did it? I think it had the best marketing campaign I've seen for a superhero movie.
Exactly it. You know what was really funny? My girlfriend has asked me about that. We went to see Pride and Prejudice and Zombies last night. She wanted to go see it.
Oh, nice. How was it?
It's a fun movie. Like, it's really fast. Because they have to encapsulate the entire... What they did is they got the entire book into the movie. And I realized why they did that. And they left some parts out, obviously. But the reason they did that is because, if you read, like, the Harry Potter books, you can cut parts and then you can just drop some stuff off, or you can add, like, a little filler, and you got a movie. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, you had to do the entire book all at once. And they did. But to do that, they had to do the entire movie so goddamn fast. So it's like you got all the beats, you got everything that you needed to from, a storyline. But it was like all of this happened, like, the characters are building right here, and then zombie battle, which builds up the secondary part to this character beat happening, and then a zombie battle. It's not even a battle, it's just like a little thing that's happening. Excuse me. And so, like, if I could see that thing being like a mini-series, honestly, if they did the Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. See, like, a 6 or 7 episode mini-series, which would be, interesting to see. But the movie itself was... It was fun to watch. I'm not saying it wasn't. It was really fun to watch, but it was so goddamn fast. Like, there were a couple times they're like, oh, this character needs to do this. And I'm like, wait, who the fuck is that again? I'm like, shit, like, I had to wait for the movie to say another character's name so I could understand what they were talking about, 20 minutes ago. Like, oh, okay, now I get it.
So this literally is them taking Pride and Prejudice and sticking zombies in the middle of it.
Ish. Kind of. Because they do the whole, this guy's higher class, this guy's lower class, that's in there as well. But it's more centered around, this guy's higher class and why this guy's lower class. But then the reason why this guy is no longer talking to this guy is because his dad got infected. So it's like his dad got infected and he had to kill his dad. But the adopted son is being a prick. And so, I mean, it has all the beats of, like, Pride and Prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just all like, the universe is zombies. So everything that's the Pride and Prejudice world is because of the zombie apocalypse, it was pretty fun to just watch. I've never read
Is it Abraham Lincoln versus vampires good or bad? Did you see that one?
Yeah, I saw that one. It's up there. I would honestly say it's up there because it has the same beats. It's Pride and Prejudice with zombies. It's instead of these rich aristocrats, being who they are and just hating people because you have less money. They have that, but then they just add zombies and, chicks killing zombies and, like, this really famous hunter and all this stuff. So, how about this? It's a $1 movie theater movie.
Huh.
It's the easiest way I can put it. It's really fun. You guys should totally check it out in the theaters. But $5 is probably the most that I would ever. I mean, that's actually what we spent last night, and I got my entertainment's worth for $5. I couldn't see it being like an eight or a $16 movie, but it was fun.
Cool.
Sent me a picture. What is it? Yes. Exactly.
I like that you inner monologue that outward.
I've only had one cup of coffee. You still got more of me to come. And then, so I went on a pirate boat ride thing yesterday.
Oh, that's right. We were talking about that.
Yeah, we went with the butt pirate asshole route.
So
it's a full mast ship is what it's referred to as. Yeah. And it looks like the old Spanish galleons kind of thing.
Okay.
And then you go out like 3 or 4 miles, and then one of the guys, he's a gunner, and he fucking fires off cannons and shit. I mean, you're obviously not sinking another ship, but you're out there, you're quote unquote fighting another ship.
That would have been great had the whole thing been a ploy to actually get people to commit piracy.
No, my first thought was, what if this is like a snuff experiment? Like, yeah, let's go out. You pay $75, you go out, and then you just murder like 20 people on another ship. Like, that would really fuck with people.
That would, but how cool would it be if the captain was there, like, okay, now we're gonna shoot at this ship. Oh, they're in on it. Don't worry about it. And then you're all like, shoot at this ship. And then you're like, now we're gonna board the ship. No, just take stuff. They're in on it. So just go ahead and take shit.
You see that little gun? Yeah, it just fires blanks. It'll stop them for a while.
They'll fall down.
It's okay. It's just paintball. So it'll be a little splatter. It's okay.
See, as an ethnic minority, I already know to avoid ships that look like that.
Oh yeah, definitely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's made to look like it's built like, for the most part, the traditional like Spanish
galleon,
or like British ships. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So it looks like an interceptor or something like that.
Oh.
And so there's 2 ships that go out. One's faster than the other, but one is like more maneuverable than the other. So it's just really cool. And the captain was telling us about it and everything.
That actually does sound pretty cool.
It was actually really fun. And the crew and everybody, they're like singing and like sea shanties and shit like that. It was really fun. And then came back, had some decent, no, it was shitty Mexican food. Who am I kidding? It was really shitty Mexican food.
How do you get shitty Mexican food in the LA area?
Because it's a Mexican food joint that's right off the harbor. And so if everybody's all concerned about seafood, something's gotta give. And it's shitty Mexican food is what happens.
Well, you don't get the fish taco?
That place was so busy last night. It took us... So we had 2 tacos, some rice and beans, like each.
Mm-hmm.
It took us half an hour to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of that food's already pre-cooked, so all they had to do was just slap it on a plate and then give it to us. It took half an hour. I couldn't imagine them having to cook up the fish to slap it on a plate to give it to us. So.
Well, maybe I would prefer they did that because cold fish is not fairly safe.
Yeah, it's true. But no, we just went safe. We got the beef tacos, and I got a cheese enchilada. And then...
Yeah, I can't do tacos. I only have burritos.
What?
Tacos are just too, they're like overstuffed burgers. They get messy after you like destroy the good parts.
See, here's the thing. You have to think of taco as just half a burrito. Well, like the soft shell ones. Just think of it as like half a burrito. You can have like one of them, and you're like, oh, I'm adequately full, but I'm not like hating myself because I ate like a baby's worth of a burrito.
Whenever I start a taco, it ends up nachos because I'll bite the shell and crumbles, and there goes my perfectly good taco.
Well, see, here's the thing. You're the different kind of brown, so you don't really know how to do crunchy tacos yet. No, and I'm not being like I'm not trying to.
No. That's fine. It's true. I don't eat a whole lot, so I'm not entirely
Yeah, exactly. But like if you do soft shell tacos, I kid you not, like
I've had soft shell tacos, and they're basically burritos. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. They're just mini burrito. It's taquito, dude. Think of it as that, and then put it in your face hole.
There you go. I've had taquitos. Those are pretty good too.
I kidding.
So anyway, did you do anything then for Valentine's Day there, Jamal?
Like I said, I've had a rough week. I literally came home, wanted the day to end so badly that I went immediately to sleep, got back up, decided the day still sucked, and went back to sleep. Yeah, I just had one of those weeks at work.
No booze involved?
I can't drink, remember? At least not yet.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't.
Which reminds me, thank you. I should probably be drinking my medicine right about now.
Jesus Christ.
Be right back.
Okay.
Man, that took a turn.
Yeah,
really fast. Fuck it. At least you reminded him.
I know, right?
Yep.
I don't need him dropping dead in the middle of our show, because...
Yeah, right. Jamal, you still there? Jamal! What's up, guys? Oh, God, thank you.
Oh, he's just sleeping.
No, I'm actually going to go see Deadpool tonight, though. I took the day off and everything.
Oh, nice.
Like, I want to do something.
Yeah, we're going to go over to the dinner in a movie theater.
Nice.
Which Roadhouse, that's what it's called. And Roadhouse. Yeah, that's where Heather wanted to go Saturday, but it was full up.
Yeah. That place is normally full up like months before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, good for them. Yay. But that sucks for anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to go to... Okay, so when we were on the boat yesterday, by the way, it sucked sometimes because it was rocking back and forth, and then it would pitch back and forth as well. So at one point in time, the boat was literally like doing a hula hoop move. And I don't know if I get seasick or not.
All right, now I'm high enough to do this.
Nope. So I didn't eat anything that day. So I'm hungry. Like I didn't eat, and the ship ride was at 2 p.m. So I didn't eat anything all day.
Which is probably good because you probably would have thrown it up.
Exactly. So I was like, I'm okay with that. I didn't eat on top of the ship like rocking back and forth every fucking direction. And then when we were sailing back into shore, there's this really good Greek restaurant that's right off the harbor, but I smelled the garlic and like all that butter and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to hold it down. And I'm like, all right, I'll be okay. I hear my girlfriend, right? Like I'm holding her because she's getting a little nauseous. And I hear her like dry heave a couple times just because of that smell. And it was just really bad all at the same time. And then we got shitty Mexican food.
Oh, nice. Because nothing settles the stomach like shitty Mexican food.
Actually, it was
after
at that
a boat
point.
Ride.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we were so hungry, it just didn't fucking matter. We're just like any shitty food, like.
So you traded in puking for diarrhea.
Yes.
Good to know.
What else did that last one say?
Like every pirate, he loves booty. It's him taking a picture while she's not looking.
Oh. What the fuck is... Was it Captain Jack? Oh, it's just some asshole chick.
Captain Jack Sparrow.
No. There we go. Okay.
How about you, Alex? Oh wait, you said you went to that place after you couldn't get tickets to see Deadpool.
Yeah, but we're going to go see Deadpool tomorrow. It's the place that we wanted to go to was the dinner in a theater, dinner in a movie theater, the Roadhouse. So Heather, we went there to go see Star Wars, The Force Awakens for the second time, and she fell in love with that place. Now she doesn't want to go anywhere else.
Good luck. I mean, just trying to get tickets for anything opening night there is damn near impossible.
Yeah, I heard that place is a goddamn beast to get into.
It is.
It
Like,
can be.
Force Awakens took weeks.
Yeah. We waited like, I don't know, it was about a month or so before we tried to get in there for Force Awakens. And then there's not a lot of seating in the theaters because they switched out all the rows for, like, Barca loungers.
Lazy boys.
Yeah, whatever. And
fucking couches.
Basically, yeah. So yeah, there's like maybe a quarter of the seating that used to be there, but it's more comfortable seating, and you get a little tray, and you get a little server, and you get an endless bowl of popcorn. Not that you would need an endless bowl of popcorn, because they give you a huge fucking bowl of popcorn.
That actually sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, and it doesn't come in a paper container either. They bring it to you in one of these
human skulls.
Oh no, that would be cool. But no, it's a chrome. Well, actually, it's one of those metal bowls that you use for cooking, or like what you would see in a surgery theater where they're plunking in like bullets from taking them out of people.
Oh, there's like a giant silver mixing bowl.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But it's like a huge one. It's like bigger than our dog bowl.
Jesus, I thought you were gonna say it's bigger than our dog.
Well, it's bigger than the little one, yeah. But
that's pretty fucking cool.
Anyway, the Grammys are tonight. Are you guys gonna watch the Grammys tonight?
No, I am not.
I haven't been into music since 1999.
Good. I don't feel so bad now.
Now, honestly, music nowadays doesn't really float my boat. So it's, if I find a band I like, I'll listen to them. But just a lot of the music nowadays just is shitty. I have no other way of putting it. It's
How old
repetitive.
are you? How old are you again?
You suck a dick. But it's all repetitive. The beats are almost one and the same. There was this guy who did a mashup. Basically, he was proving like all music nowadays is the exact same. And fuck, I hate my cats. So I have a tangent. So I have an aloe plant that I have next to my window. Like, oh, I like having a plant. They bit off most of the tips of my aloe plant. I think just to be assholes.
Yeah, Fauna would do that too. Any flowers or any plants that I would bring into the house, she would eat.
Anyhow, but this guy did a mashup it was probably like almost a year ago at this point, actually. And he layered in like Lady Gaga and Justin Bieber and Swift and like basically the pop stars nowadays, Katy Perry, and basically he cut their vocals to one beat and to one track, and you couldn't tell the difference between the music. It was all like their vocals were all aligned to the beats of the song. And it was just, at that point in time, I was like, yep, I knew it. Today's music sucks. Like, I have no other way of putting it.
Have you seen Axis of Awesome?
Yes.
4 chords?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
exactly it. But see, there's a difference, because you can get something like that where you're like, it's really good music, and then you can have them playing, different artists taking up different, or different artists playing the same 4 chords. Because, I mean, inherently, we all refer back to the 4 chords because it's really pleasing to the human ear. But then you get people who take it to the extreme and do only the 4 chords, and that's it. But then some artists who do, they'll do the 4 chords, but then their vocals are what make the song, and that's what's really pleasant about it.
You guys ever watch the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Always.
Seth Green was in a band in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and they were holding practice one day, and they were talking about, one of the band members was like, can we learn more than just 3 chords? And then Seth Green looks at the guy and he's like, more than 3 chords are for fruity jazz bands with flutes in them.
Yeah. That's kind of what the feeling is nowadays.
Kind of, but my taste in music is probably not what's considered good, so I don't really care about music.
What do you like?
Yeah.
Boys.
Like the classic, the golden oldies, like what? Gary Cooper, all those guys.
That's yours. No, I've been listening to the classic hip hop station as of recent, but it irritates me because, like every other radio station, they just play the same 12 songs over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean,
so one of the last times they came back to Tucson, they were playing. I was listening to what's the rock station?
Kiss FM? No.
No.
KFMA?
92.1?
Something like that. I think it is KFMA, though.
Okay, so that station.
Yeah.
I was listening to it, and they're like, always playing the newest rock nowadays more than everybody else, or something stupid like that. And they started playing, or that's what it was. They were like, playing the newest rock nowadays. Yeah, it was something like that. It was like, always playing the newest rock.
Right.
And then immediately they started playing Enter Sandman. And I fucking lost it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's pretty much it. Rock is kind of dead right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of hate that experience when you're listening to the radio and they say, oh, here's a golden oldie or a classic, and then they play something you distinctly remember jamming out to, like, for the first time.
Right? Yeah. And you're like, oh, it kind of hurts a little.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I'm sure that's what your parents went through when you were in the car going to school and they were listening to the radio and you're all like, what the hell is this crap?
What's really funny? So my parents, I grew up listening to the, 60s, 70s, 80s music because of, my parents and my sisters who grew up in the 80s. And so the 90s, it was like, oh, I get to listen to grunge by myself. I get to listen to rock and all this cool stuff. But at the end of the day, that was my music. I love that stuff, Nirvana, Depeche Mode, fucking Queens of the Stone Age, stuff like that. That's the stuff that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, when I'm driving around, I listen to, Temptations, the Supremes. I can just, quote-unquote old school music, because that's what I grew up listening to. Beach Boys every once in a while. That's what I grew up listening to, We get up Saturday morning, we go, damn it, there's a bug in my coffee.
That's not going to stop you from drinking.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah.
But it's just, that was a little upsetting. We get up early Saturday morning, and we go outside and we go work on the house, and we're listening to, the oldies station, and that's what's the music that I love.
All right. Let's see, I grew up listening to my dad's radio station, which was the old school country. And when I say old school, I'm talking like Conway Twitty and Boxcar Billy and shit like that. And I don't listen to that because I never liked it. It bothered the hell out of me.
Really?
Yes, but what I like is, I like dance music, like electronic dance music, techno, dubstep, shit like that.
Okay, hold on. Is that the German in you coming out?
Probably, yes.
I will say that I'm kind of on board with you, Alex. I just discovered what tropical house is, and I'm obsessed with it right now. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. So I just started Spotify not too long ago, so I'm gonna.
You would know it if you were on Facebook with me, Mario, but you won't accept my friend request.
I don't Facebook.
Also, Mario's a dick to his friends on Facebook.
Ah.
Alex, I haven't talked to you in fucking years on
I know.
Facebook.
I know, and I keep trying, Mario. Why won't
You
you
have my
acknowledge my
number.
existence?
This is getting awkward. This is getting a little.
Okay,
Should I? Okay.
so besides the electronic stuff, I like to listen to. I used to like top 40, but top 40 is pretty crappy now. So I've gone to the old school hip hop, but I'll even listen to like uh like a disco. I
Okay.
I actually kind of like some disco stuff. So
Uh,
I know that kind of takes me out of the running of having good taste in music, and I'm fine with that. But anything you would hear at a club being mixed by a DJ, and like a real DJ, not like a wedding DJ, I like. I like, and I don't dance, which is the funny thing. But I like to watch other people dance, and I like.
Joe! I added you, dude. You look like Mario Brothers.
I do.
Yeah, you totally look like Mario from the Mario Brothers.
Are you
It's the
talking?
mustache.
It's the mustache.
Are you talking
Yeah.
about his Facebook pic?
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to get around to like putting a different pick on there. I just, for whatever reason, that's the first pick I took right after surviving my little heart thing. So it's kind of got sentimental value.
Well, we can just superimpose a Mario hat onto you and call it a day.
Yeah, why not?
I'll get on that. I'll probably have one by the end of the day.
Cool. I'm trying to tweet right now while we're doing this.
I like the thing that you put on your Facebook page. I suck at keeping in
Yep.
contact with people, even if I like them.
Well, it was very true, so I shared it.
No, I'm very bad at that as well.
Here's a hashtag. Give me like your ideas of this. Hashtag. I think it would be
Sucks.
great. I think it would be great if blank.
What?
I see what you're saying, and then you fill in the blank.
Yeah. I think it would be great if.
Yeah, that's
What?
not bad. So what is your the hashtag is wouldn't it be great? And then you type in what you think would be
What?
great. Like for Mario, it would be, a room full of dicks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would be kind of funny, just to like start flopping them around, just start batting at him.
Like if we try to visualize it, what is it like a wall just made of dicks?
Yeah, it's like if
I
it's
like
just
the
all
walls of
made
this.
of dicks.
So it would be like an inverted porcupine of dicks.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
I could be okay with that.
You'd walk like it would be like shag carpeting, only much. It would be exactly like shag carpeting actually.
Just much more sticky.
Well, I would
Yes.
envision it like like one of those padded rooms that you find in the insane asylums. Just
Yeah.
with a bunch of dicks.
I kind of like what happens if you introduce like a stimulant or like a porn there. What happens to the shag carpeting? All of a sudden, it's a jagged floor. All of a sudden, well, jagged might be a little generous.
I guess it depends on who's supplying the dicks.
There you go.
I was going with more dildo like, but if you want actual dicks.
Huh. I just saw a dude back up into my neighbor's driveway, hit their car, and then drive off.
Like hit it hard.
Well,
Did you get the plate?
he was like backing up to like basically do a 3-point turn, but I don't think he realized how close he was, and he just kind of nudged it, and then he just drove away. And it was like the look on his face was just like, "Oh shit! Hope nobody saw me," and then he just drove away.
Did you get the plates?
No, I didn't care about it. It's California. Everybody hits everybody's car out here. It was literally just like a little boop. It was funny because it's a commercial car too, which made it funnier. Because like I saw his face like, oh god, I'm gonna get fired, and then he just kind of like, and he didn't like peel out. He just kind of like put it into drive and just slowly drove away.
That's kind of just sad.
It was funny.
I think it would be great if people left Britney alone.
Yeah. if Mexicans weren't so trashy.
The hell did that come from?
From the Mexican.
Yeah, dude. I can the Mexican in me can come out every once in a while.
I do notice that some of the actual like people born and bred here are not very fond of the ones that, find their way here otherwise.
Right.
So speaking of Facebook, I found some sort of it looks like a guy who's at like a prayer service doing pickup lines on a woman. So some of them are, I put the stud in Bible study.
Oh God.
I believe one of my ribs belongs to you. Is it a sin that you stole my heart? Do you need prayer because I'm willing to lay my hands on you? Do you want to practice speaking in tongues? Is it hot in here, or is it just the Holy Spirit burning inside you?
Hey, Alex.
Yeah?
Did you know that The Goonies was released in 1985?
Last night I was reading the Book of Numbers and realized I didn't have yours. Wait, 1985?
Yep.
You know they're trying to do a sequel to it finally?
Yes, they are.
I
Wait,
don't know
Alex, do you remember? Do you remember seeing that movie in the theater?
Goonies?
Yeah.
Well, technically yes, because we went to go see it at the Loft probably a couple of years ago.
Never mind then.
Suck a dick.
Suck a room full of dicks.
Just sloppily labeled in there.
That would be like the worst glory hole for the guys outside of the room, because they'd all have to be literally on top of one another.
All right, let's stop it. We've talked the science out of this damn thing already.
Well, speaking of a room full of dicks, Fast and Furious 7?
I knew you'd be a fan.
It's like half a room full of dicks.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I gotta get my notebook of all the shit that I wrote down that I disliked about it.
Does it just say it sucked a notebook of dicks?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone, isn't he?
Yes.
No, and no.
Are you still there, Alex? All right. My next pick is Gravity.
I'll fucking quit. Fucking quit right now. I hated that movie.
That's fine.
Did you hate Fast and Furious 7?
No, he said my next choice is gonna be Gravity, and I'm like, I'll fucking quit right now.
We'll bring Heather on for that episode.
Jesus Christ.
All I'm saying, IMDb 7.9, Rotten Tomatoes 97,
Okay.
Metacritic 96.
You know what's really funny? When that movie first came out, on Rotten Tomatoes, it was like a 8.5 or something like that. Like it was really high up, and now it's barely. It's like screeching to try to get an 8.0 nowadays.
Well,
It's falling.
The Rotten Tomatoes? It's still 97.
No, IMDb, asshole.
Oh. IMDb is 7.9.
Exactly.
You have to realize, though, that the Fast and Furious movie that we watched for this week is the highest acclaimed Fast and Furious movie. Everybody seems to love this.
Well, that's kind of like calling it the best dick in the room full of dicks. Nobody. It's not a great compliment.
No, this is like they're saying. You remember how little you like the A-Team?
Yes.
In my opinion, this movie is worse than the A-Team, but yet everybody likes it better than all the other Fast and Furious movies.
They like it better than the A-Team too, apparently.
Yeah, that whole thing where they were flying the tank in the A-Team is just like them doing their drop point with their cars flying out of the airplane.
I would agree, except for this. This was done by a fairly decent director with at least a director with a good eye for action. The other guy seemed like he was a comedy director, and that he was very recently introduced to like large scale stunts and CGI.
Yeah, but I don't care how well acclaimed this guy is. This movie still sucked.
Well, I'm sure you think so. For some reason, you're like going against the grain.
Well, no, here, in the first scene of the movie, Jason
Yeah.
Statham is talking to his brother at the hospital. and he puts down the MP5 and puts the guy's hand on it and walks away, and then
Yeah.
tells the nurses, take care of my brother, which is great, because my first thought is if I were a nurse, my first thought would be, oh cool, free MP5.
Yeah, but you're also an asshole. You're the room full of dicks equivalent of a human being.
This is true.
Yeah, and that would be, of course, that would be your first.
But so Jason Statham goes into the elevator, pulls the sunglasses out of his breast pocket, wipes them off. The camera moves around him. This is all an unbroken shot, by the way. So the camera's behind his back. He gets out of the elevator, picks up a hand grenade, hands it to an officer. The officer blows up, and then he puts his hand into his breast pocket and pulls out his sunglasses again. He never put them back in his breast pocket. They just disappeared in the elevator and reappeared in his breast pocket, so he had to take them out twice.
Yeah, dude, that's how awesome he is. No, see, what it is that you're not understanding is he had multiple sunglasses in his pockets for this instance. Yeah, because he's like, oh shit, I think I forgot it. And then he just kind of slowly just puts them back on.
Yeah, but they were in his hand already. And I was hoping you would actually say that he had some sort of teleportation power, because that I would have given you.
Hang on, before we go any further, for the former cinematographer, what did you think of that one long shot, by the way, Mario?
Fuck me. Hold on, wait, you gotta refresh. I was drunk when I watched it. You gotta refresh my memory.
The very first
starts
shot.
at the hospital, yeah.
Oh, the first one. I thought it was fun. I mean, it didn't break any, like, barriers when it comes to long shots. I mean, it was really cool. Shitload of choreography, I'll admit, that had to go down for that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't like, I guess the biggest thing is that it didn't add anything to the story for me itself. It just seemed like we're following a character. You know what it really felt like? You know the beginning shot of Jules and Vincent Vega in Reservoir Dog or Pulp Fiction?
Where they're talking in the car?
Yeah. It seemed like they were trying to do that, but you couldn't get the... Like, they were trying to set up the character like that, like he's cool, calm, collected, and this is just a thing for him to do now.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it seemed very much... It's a cool shot, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think that's all it was. It was just a really cool shot.
It seemed like a manufactured way to show us how badass this guy is.
Right.
And
see, that's where I was getting, is that it was a cool shot, but it didn't lead anything to the character itself.
Yeah.
They could have done a lot. They could have done a lot more without that, what was it, like a 3-minute shot or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have done a lot more to the character if they added.
So it seems to me, I think you're right. I think they could have established him being a badass with a little bit less. Like, all that wanton destruction of a hospital doesn't really read as badass as much as it does read as, he doesn't care about anything. That, because he destroyed a hospital and killed off an entire SWAT team, and it's in an action sequence that we, the audience, don't get to see. We just see the aftermath of.
Right.
So it's supposed to establish, he can kick some ass. But we find that out throughout the course of the movie, so we didn't really need this. So it could have been cool of him just maybe attacking 2 or 3 of the hospital guards and showing that, he's attacking these minimum wage guys. And there could have even been a guy who would have ran off and he still killed him. And that could have showed in a little bit better way that he's, a total, loose cannon or whatever.
Yeah. Here's why I think it's a great scene to start the movie out for his character. It serves 2 purposes. One, for his character in general, it's just everywhere, it's metaphor. It's for everywhere he goes, havoc ensues. It starts off with this really intense exchange, or really just monologue that he has with his brother, and then as soon as you start seeing him actually moving and walking through this world that's created in the movie, everything is just going to shit. Things are blowing up. People are being stabbed, shot. Innocent bystanders caught in between. It's just this I feel it as though it sets up his character for the rest of the movie because everything else after that with that character is just absolute chaos. Like the you mentioned the drop earlier, and we'll probably get to that in a
Yeah.
second. But at the drop, there's really three factions happening there, and one of them is Jason Statham all on his own.
Right.
There's the heroes. There's this army that is transporting the package basically,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have Jason Statham on his own, just kind of fucking everything up from the side.
Right.
And that's kind of his character for the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing that scene does is this is a franchise based on the outlandish and the silly, and it starts off with a scene like that in a hospital. I mean, it's just kind of like the very beginning of this movie. To check your physics and your rationale at the door, because there's a ton of things you can pick apart about that happening in a hospital. Why is it happening in a hospital? Why couldn't they call the police? All that sort of stuff.
Well, they
But
did
yeah,
call the police. Hospitals don't have their own SWAT team.
Yeah, there's stuff like that. It just
Sure.
it was dumb. It was a dumb thing happening in a serious locale, and it's just kind of like very early on they're telling you, this is the kind of movie we're putting out there. It's really, really, over the top.
Right. So before I watched this movie, I actually saw what I will claim to be Jason Statham's best movie to date.
Don't say Spy.
I am going to say Spy.
I haven't seen Spy.
That you need to see it because his character in that movie is amazingly awesome.
I've seen clips of Spy. My arm, and my left arm fell off, and I tied it on with my right arm.
Oh no! His best bit is the face-off machine when he starts talking about the face-off machine, and this is one of the first times you actually see him. It is.
Here's the plan. I go into the face-off machine. I get a new face. Oh yeah, we have that just lying around. Just be sure to bring quarters. Wait, take quarters? We don't have a face-off machine.
Oh my god, that was hilarious! And then he's walking away, all pouty, like, I know there's a face-off machine. You just won't let me use it. It was just such a caricature of his characters and how he does it. And he was just making so much fun of himself, and it was amazing. And the fact that he had such a good sense of humor about it, and that he went just balls deep with it, made it his best character to date.
Oh, that was one with Melissa McCarthy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Actually,
yeah.
Now that
I was
think
trying to
about it, I did
remember.
see it.
See, that's actually a pretty good movie, and there's a lot of ass kicking, and done by McCarthy's character. I always want to call her Jenny McCarthy. I know that's not right, but
Cousins.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But it's done by McCarthy's character, and it's obviously not her because they're doing gymnastics that there's no way in hell she'd be able to do. But it's seamlessly done, and they shoot it in a way that you don't realize that it's a stunt woman until you really start looking at the stunt and how McCarthy moves. So, but that's really well done.
Well,
They're
having seen that movie and realizing it's the same director and actress, are you excited for Ghostbusters?
I'm neither excited nor not excited. I'm waiting to see what the first trailer is going to be like.
Ambivalent, are we?
Yeah, I'm going to wait and see what the first trailer is like. Yeah, go away.
Honestly, I think it's going to be one of those movies I'm going to see at the Dollar Theater. Because yes, I do want to see it. I love Ghostbusters, but I'm not really.
It's not going to be the movie that I want to see opening weekend. I'll wait to see if people like it, if they hate it, and then I'll decide if I'm going to wait for it to come on Netflix or if I'm going to download it or see it at the theater or whatever. But okay, there was a thing in this movie. Is it Furious 7 or is it Fast and Furious 7?
It's Furious 7.
Is it just Furious? Okay.
Or Fast 7, I believe.
Is it Fast 7? It said the opening titles was Fast and Furious 7, but then I've seen it other ways, so I don't know if they changed it for like the DVD release or whatever. But Hollywood is in love with the concept of a hockey puck shaped explosive, and they used it in this movie. And okay, let me do this real quick. I'm going to run down for you basically what is the first 15 minutes of this movie. So Jason Statham's sunglasses disappear. Okay, this is totally not how amnesia works, by the way. If you are in a car accident and you lose your memory, you're probably going to lose an hour, 2 at the most. You're not going to lose like your entire life. Do you want to know how you give The Rock top billing without him being in a movie? You bookend him. He was barely in this film, and
Yeah.
he got fucking, well, maybe like third billing, but still outside of the 2 leads. So,
But he got paid a dickload anyway.
yeah.
Shooting Hercules at the time.
Well, I thought it was a WWE contract or WWE contract he couldn't get out of.
Nah, he does that stuff to actually. He basically just uses that company now to promote his movies.
So,
Like he shows up, says hi, go see my movie.
all right. So then, Hollywood is in love with the hockey puck, which there's no way in hell you could put that much explosives to do that much damage in a tiny little hockey puck. Jason Statham would have been paralyzed after being smashed into a coffee table by The Rock. The Rock would have died in the explosion, and if he
hold on. My thing is, are we actually analyzing the reality of this film?
Yeah,
I think that's my
give me
whole
a second.
argument a second ago.
Give me a second. Give me a second. Just let me finish this.
All right.
The Rock would have died in the explosion, and if he didn't die in the explosion, he would have died in the fall that followed the explosion.
Okay.
How did Paul Walker get his kid into the minivan if he doesn't know how the doors work? And this is all within the first 15 minutes of the film, and then the rest of the leads would have been dead. Movie over. Thanks, house explosion. So in reality, this movie would have ended in about 20 minutes. And
So-
this is really the problem I have with this movie, that when The Rock gets blown out of a window via a high velocity explosion, falls 10 floors, and crashes into a car, how am I supposed to worry about these characters dying and being in life-threatening situations if what is obviously something that would kill a person doesn't kill a person? That would be akin to just shooting The Rock in the head and having him pick the bullet out and walk away.
So do you always go to how it should have ended to get your movie sum ups?
No, I actually didn't watch how it should have ended for this.
Because that's exactly their argument.
But that's because that's a valid argument. There was a part in this movie where all the cars are driving along, and then they start being shot at, and they're like, "Oh, we need the armor-plated car in front." First off, why wasn't the armor-plated car in front in the first place?
'Cause it was slow.
Secondly, they get to the side of it, kept up with all the other cars. They were tailgating in a convoy, and they were all going the same speed, and they caught up with the bus, so it wasn't slower than the other cars. And then there was this point where the cars are on the side of the bus.
Wait. You're breaking up really bad. Is that just me or Mario?
No,
Are you getting
that's
that too?
No, dude, that's just you.
Okay.
Okay, so then there's this point in the bus where they're on the side of the bus, and then more Gatling guns come out, and then dude's all like, "Oh, it's armor-piercing bullets, everybody run!" And then their cars get shot more. First off, when their cars were getting shot by the first set of rounds, it wasn't penetrating the car; it was bouncing off as if all the cars are bulletproof. And secondly, if they really had armor-piercing rounds on the side of the bus, 2 of those guys would have been dead at that point. So it's like there's nothing that can happen in this movie that will kill the leads. Even Letty doesn't die, and she fucking was involved in a car accident and was exploded. Not in this particular film, but in the franchise. None of these people ever have a fear of dying, and they're at a funeral being all like, "Oh, I can't go to any more funerals." You guys don't go to funerals because of all the shit you've done, and you were attacked by a tank at one point. None of you fucking died. So it's like, how am I supposed to get into it and fear for these guys if the first thing we see is something impossible to survive and you survive? He had barely a broken arm and a broken leg.
You stepping off your soapbox now?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Good, Mario.
That was page 1. So I have 2.5 more pages here. But you guys can go ahead. But
Oh, Jamal, please go.
All right. Jumping over a bridge, one car on top of another, and then driving down the front of that car. Dragging a gigantic safe through the streets of Rio.
Yeah, thank you, because they never would have gotten the safe out of
Okay.
the building itself. But yes, you're absolutely right.
All right. Let's see. You know, somehow the streets of Tokyo completely barren, so they could actually like whip cars around them, like in the middle of their version of Times Square.
Yeah, they would have ran over all sorts of people.
Let's see what happened in Fast Six. Oh yeah, the world's longest runway for a plane that's the size of a stadium.
Yeah, that runway was like, the size of Tucson, wasn't it?
Okay. Exactly. At what point did you come into this movie expecting it to be any more real?
Did you have a legitimate fear for anybody's life during the course of this particular movie, Fast 7? Did you
Yes.
think at any point in time they were going to die?
Yes. You know why? They've killed off characters before. In fact, they make it routine now.
Those are pretty minor characters, and I'll give you Han maybe the most main character that they killed off, but they made him a main character after killing him off. He was kind of a side character and almost a villain in Tokyo Drift, which was what, the third movie?
So wait, the guy from the very first movie, they actually brought him back and then killed him off. That had no effect on you.
He was in the first movie, and he was in what, the sixth movie, and in none of the other movies in between.
Right.
Yeah,
so
he's a side character.
Yeah. Okay. Side character that moment didn't have any sort of gravity on you.
Well, when you talk about Paul Walker, The Rock, and Vin Diesel being the main characters, and I'll give you Vin Diesel's sister, what's her face, Paul Walker's wife, and Letty. Those are the five characters, and then Ludacris and Tyrese. Those seven guys are not ever going to die off. Okay, they've been the main characters in all the movies basically, and they're never going to die off.
I'm almost willing to put money down that neither Tyrese nor Ludacris will see the end of this franchise. Because that's kind of what the franchise. It's a cheap way of making itself seem serious, but they do it.
No, they're bringing back Ava Menendez for this next movie, and she's obviously going to be the one that gets killed off. They're going to call her in to do something, and they're going to fucking kill her off. And that's going to be our big, oh, she was in the other movie. She was in the second one, and now they killed her off. Or they're going to bring in Devon, who was in the second movie, the Asian chick.
So you think they would kill off Ava Mendes before they killed off Ludacris or Tyrese?
Yes.
Okay. All right, if that's where you're going with it, I mean Tyrese isn't all that important a character either. Ludacris is a side character's side character.
They're actually not, because Ludacris is being billed as their tech guy, so they can't do anything without him because he's in charge of the communications and he's in charge of bringing down the security systems. So
what about that new girl?
Yeah, there's a good. See, she hasn't been in all the films, so there's a good chance she'll either not be in the next one or she'll die off in the next one. And okay. Tyrese is important because he's the Omega. She was going through all the people and their roles in the.
Tyrese is the most likely to be killed in the next one.
He's the jokester. He's the guy. He's the guy who does the comedy one-liners. There's Vin Diesel who does the serious one-liners, quote unquote, and then there's Tyrese who earns that paycheck every week by doing a comedy one-liner. He's the guy who points out why everything's going to go wrong. He's just as important as the Alpha and the Omega.
Two things: Tyrese sucks at being the comic relief. Second thing, if they wanted to really do gravity, they would kill off the comic relief. So in my mind, he's like the guy standing out the most now. But back to what we were talking about, there is nothing realistic about this franchise from day one. What made you go into this movie and all of a sudden decide, you know what, I'm going to start picking that thing?
No, I go into all of them doing that. Mario and I, for, what was it, Fast and Furious 5? When we were
I don't know.
The one where they were dragging the safe through Rio, where we were sitting on either side of Heather telling her all the physics problems with them.
Well, see, A, we did that on purpose just to fuck with her, and B, yeah I remember that.
No, but there were all sorts of problems with that.
Do you often find yourself doing that? Like I didn't hear like complaints about Rubber being able to move on its own and have intelligence and telepathic abilities.
No, but Alex and I weren't sitting next to you being assholes. That was the difference.
Yes,
Yeah.
but Rubber also died at the end.
What do you try? Oh, that makes it more realistic.
If you want to, can you take Butters out? I don't know, but can you take Butters out? She really needs to go out. Okay. So, but hold on a second. What? Okay. But Rubber is more realistic in the fact that there was some actual motion going on there, and B, there was actual fear of death because they actually did kill off main characters throughout the course of the movie, and they killed off the villain Rubber. So it wasn't like Jason Voorhees where we're never going to kill him, so there's we're never going to think that Jason Voorhees or that Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers is ever going to die. We've already established that
I
those
did
guys
not think
will
for
never
one second that I did not think for 1 second that Rubber would not make it to the end of that movie. Because what horror franchise doesn't end with, or the movie doesn't end with the sort of ominous, oh, is he still coming back kind of thing. Scream built itself on that.
Well, Scream was
Friday the 13th built itself on that.
Scream is
Nightmare
kind
on
of
Elm Street.
yeah. Scream is kind of the cliche of horror films, though. They're the ones who point it all out,
Friday the
who revel in.
13th.
But yeah, it's all of that. But Rubber actually did die, though. I mean, he transmogrified into a tricycle, but you could see that the character died, and a new character, the son of Rubber.
No, it's implicitly stated that it was not stated, but it's meant, very suggested heavily that is still Rubber. By the way, the back onto the Fast and Furious thing, they've been killing off people for in fact, they kill off people every movie actually. That's kind of a trope of theirs.
Yeah, they're secondary characters though.
Secondary characters. Everybody's a secondary character in that franchise except for the three leads. They were willing to kill off Michelle Letty, basically. They were willing to kill her off, and then somebody says, "Hey, there's kind of a thing going here with bringing back the big names and stuff. Plus, she's just an avatar.
Yeah,
that made a bunch of money, so let's bring her back."
Exactly.
And there you go.
So who's to say that these other characters aren't going to come back?
Do you think Han is coming back?
He might. Letty came back. Why not Han?
Because Han is actually shown dying. Letty was just sort of like a weird montage in that movie. Well, that one I still haven't seen completely, because not enough Dwayne Johnson in there.
Well, there wasn't enough Dwayne Johnson in this one for you, was there?
No, but one of my, because I do have complaints about the movie. One of my major complaints about the movie is the sudden sort of brotherliness between Dwayne Johnson's characters and the rest of that group.
Well, they've been together for 3 films, haven't they?
Right. In the first one, he was hunting them like dogs.
Yeah.
The second one, he was blackmailing them, and then all of a sudden, they're family in this one.
Well, in towards the end of the first one that The Rock is in, he kind of sees their point of view and lets them do their thing, and that's when they steal that safe.
And then they screw him over at the end when they actually do end up stealing that safe.
Right. But he kind of has a respect for them at the end. You can kind of see that. And then in the second one, you're right, he's blackmailing them, but he's A, getting to know them, and B, doing that because he has that kind of respect for them. And that's where that broness comes into it. But yes, it is a little soon for them to be visiting him in the hospital and being all like, oh, poor Dobbs and shit.
I feel Hobbs. I feel like they lost something with the animosity, but that's a minor thing. Back to what you were saying though, if you have a problem with outlandish and really silly stunts in movies, I've got some bad news for you, buddy. That's been movies since Armageddon.
I know, but some of them are done.
The hell was that?
That's a truck going by. I think that
was Alex. That was my tummy rumbling.
Do you need to go sit on the toilet?
Actually, I've had like a liter of coffee. I probably should.
Do you want to take a little break there?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm no quitter.
You just let us know when you need to take a break.
You'll literally hear me go, oh, and then it'll just be radio silence from me.
Okay.
Okay. So another another problem I have with this movie, and this is just at the top of the list of the next page. So Dom tells basically Brian that he's going to meet him in LA in 48 hours. He has to fly to Japan and talk to somebody. So I actually did the math on this, and it depends on where Vin Diesel's character is at this time, and I think he's in DC because he was visiting Hobbs in the hospital. So it would have taken him, what is it, 11 hours to go from LA to Tokyo. It would have taken him 4 hours to go across country, DC to LA.
Yeah,
probably
but bro, what you're not understanding is that their airplanes are just as souped up as their cars are.
well
So
wait.
they can make it.
Wait, he's not in DC for that.
Where is
Yeah,
he
he
at?
is. No, he's in DC, isn't he?
No, he's in LA. You know why? How I know that? Because at the end of the movie, he
You were
walks
paying
out of a
attention
hospital.
to the goddamn thing.
He
Oh, that's
walks
right.
out of a hospital and then starts shooting things in LA.
Okay, so I just take 4 hours off of my math. So that's 20. So
Wait, did you actually do that?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
yeah, so it's 11 hours to
George.
go from LA to Tokyo. There's probably
I
going
got
to
it.
be, he has to check in 2 hours ahead. Actually, I have
got
to
it.
take off 6 hours because there wouldn't be that layover in LA.
Los Angeles to
Okay,
Tokyo.
so with the new math, this might actually work out. So there's the check-in to go to Tokyo Airport, another 2 hours, then another 11 hours to go from Tokyo to LA. So that's 26 hours of travel time. And then he has another 22 hours to actually talk to this guy. But my big question is, where did he get, if he's only spending 2 days in Tokyo, where did he get the Plymouth Roadrunner? Did he bring that with him, or did he just so happen to find that in Tokyo?
The man has millions of dollars. I'm sure he bought it while he's there.
Yeah. How do you find a pristine Roadrunner, buy it for 2 days, and then what do you do with it?
I'm sure he just gave it to the kid or something.
That doesn't make any sense.
Tokyo car sales.
And how are you going to find a 1970 Plymouth? It's probably a GTX, actually. It's probably not the Roadrunner. But how are you going to find a vintage 70s muscle car in Tokyo, Japan? Those guys aren't known for liking American vehicles to begin with, let alone
You also
from
have
the
to remember
70s.
that in Japan itself, there's a huge subculture of people who love American culture.
Yeah.
And it's not much, but there are. So they have they're essentially greasers, but they have Harley Davidson motorcycles, which you know how hard it is to get anything America shipped over there. So they have American motorcycles. They have Levi jeans, like circa 1980s Levi jeans.
Well, everybody has the Levi's. That's almost world currency right there.
Right. But I mean, no, but I mean like circa 1980, like the red threaded Levi jeans, you know. They have like this entire counterculture of Japan in Japan.
Right.
And so I mean that wasn't too far a stretch for me, but it was definitely like all right, you guys are pushing it a little right now.
See, him finding the GTO in Triple X is more believable to me. Finding the GTO in Europe in Triple X is more believable to me than him finding that car in Japan.
I'm sure there's car collectors in Japan that he could have gotten that from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but if you would have had,
jerking off to anime and beating their wives.
Well, do you think those guys would have?
Mario hates Asians.
Well, I am Asian.
You still hate Asians?
Yeah, I do.
He's self-loathing.
Piece of shit.
So does Alex.
Yeah, Alex hates everybody though.
Alex hates Asians particularly. I can prove it.
Okay, go ahead, because I don't hate Asians.
Yeah, wait, there's a difference. Does he hate Asians or does he just hate you?
Hang on, Alex. When you watch a Godzilla movie, who do you root for?
Usually the scientist. What?
What did you say?
I said usually the scientist.
You're a prick. You laughed even before you answered.
I know.
That's a lie right there. Everybody roots for Godzilla when he's in that movie.
Well, maybe you do because you're racist, but I actually like the scientist.
Tired of screaming Godzilla and then running away from it.
Because those are the only guys who actually do anything. That's why I was so disappointed with Bryan Cranston dying at the beginning of the Godzilla movie.
That was disappointing for other reasons. It's the fact that Bryan Cranston is in that movie for like 15 minutes.
Yeah,
When
but you need a scientist to go after Godzilla because science is the only way you can defeat him.
Liar. Would you bone Margaret Cho?
God no.
Actually, yeah, because she was looking pretty good in that Weird Al Yankovic video of hers, of his.
What video was she in?
The Blurred Lines ripoff. No,
There's a
no, not Blurred Lines.
Come on, Alex. You can do it.
Becky
Don't be a
Cho.
bitch.
Hang on. And
No. This is
Weird
for
Al.
Alex. He has to do this.
It's not Blurred Lines because that was it's the Happy
Happy?
Pharrell song. Yeah, the Happy
Yeah.
song by Pharrell. That's the one. She's in that one, and she actually looks pretty decent. Plus, she was in Drop Dead Diva, and she looked pretty good in that too. So
She dropped a shitload of weight over the past couple of years too.
she did. She actually looks really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm looking at a picture right now. She has Yakuza tattoos on herself now.
I got a dragon tattoo on my arm. It's
Yeah,
an
the
Asian
new-
dragon, and it's called Bruce, and it's not because of Bruce Lee, so don't even go that route.
Yeah, but you also had a Trans Am.
What?
Trans Am is not Asian.
No,
Wait,
it's
what?
just
It's
It's-
more white trash than anything.
exactly.
You have a tattoo of Trans Am on you?
No, well,
No.
it wasn't a Trans Am, it was the Firebird, but yeah.
Fuck Firebird. Fuck.
Yeah. But it's still a pretty white trashy car.
It
But
was
I-
cool, don't get me wrong, but the first time you pulled up in it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be fun now. I was like, I'm gonna love this friendship.
But yes, I have an Asian dragon on my arm named Bruce.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I got into that car with Alex, I knew for a fact that he was gonna peel out of the parking lot every time we were in it.
God,
And he did. And he
every
did.
fucking time.
Were you in the car with me when I was driving Mario's car because we were using it to film Cliché and I had to get it to the backside of Pima to do the on the dock,
I might. God, it's been so long. I might have been.
and I was fishtailing it and
No, I was not. Every time I've been with you in a car and you peeled out of somewhere, you just knock, rocks at other people's cars.
yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, he does.
Well, that's what you get for living in a city that's made of complete rocks.
By the way, have you seen some of like the modern takes on the Firebirds?
Where they take the Camaro and turn them into Firebirds.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a place in Detroit that does it. I forget what they're called. That does a really nice job.
It's nice to see that image on a new body, but still, you kind of know it's not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you really think about it, the Firebird and the Camaro were basically the same car. I think the Firebird just got a bigger engine. The front and rear ends were a little different, and the Camaro had vents for the rear brakes to keep them cool, whereas the Trans Am had a vent for the hood to keep the engine cool. That is literally the only real difference between those two cars.
Not a bad car, and it should be in the Fast and the Furious. I mean, the actual like Trans Am though, or the Firebirds. It'd be nice to see cars from the '80s represented.
Yeah, probably about 20 minutes. Yeah, they did the in Fast and Furious 2 they did the Camaro, the Yenko, and then the Challenger RT that they raced against. They're very kind of biased against American cars in that franchise. That was pointed out to me around Fast and Furious 2, and it now bugs me that I noticed that. But they've gotten a little better with it, but they are very biased against American cars.
Which brings us back to the franchise. Mario, we didn't get your thoughts on Alex's little diatribe there about the movie being sort of fakeish.
That's exactly it. The movie's a piece of shit, but it's a fun piece of shit to watch. By the way, Alex, I just sent something on Skype. You should read it.
I don't know if I'm getting your stuff on Skype. Yeah, for some reason I have no idea.
Heck yeah?
Yes, the heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not getting any kind of messages from Skype. I think I have to reload it.
Which reminds me, Mario, did you get my text?
No.
The Awesomer.
Oh yeah, I totally got that the other day.
Yeah, it's not a bad side.
Yeah,
Thought you'd
that's
like
fun.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was.
So I do have a list of things that the movie got right. If you'd like to hear it,
Nah.
Eh.
it's a short list.
Ah,
It's a very short list. It's actually two
Eh.
things. I'll say it anyway because my show. Um, the thing.
Oh, look at that!
Well,
If I hit end call, everybody stops.
yeah.
That's okay. Uh, the bus when it crashed, when it fell off the cliff, it did not explode upon impact, which is actually accurate. So there's that, and the fact that you could actually shoot a bag of grenades and it might go off. It depends on the gun that you use, and there's like a 50-50 chance that it'll set off the rest of the grenades, but it actually might work.
Oh, I forgot about that part. I was like, he shot a bag of grenades?
Yeah, it was dangling at the end of a. He did a total transporter move, which is kind of funny, because the transporter did the exact same thing
Yeah.
in the second one, and which is slightly more believable movie than these ones are, except for that one scene. But yeah, he does this thing where he does a flip in the air. He attaches the explosives to the helicopter and then kind of lands safely. Although in this one, they needed to perform CPR on him for 5 minutes and then perform the Matrix maneuver on him because
That's right.
obviously that works way better.
Yeah. Still more stuff that clearly is fake and silly and outlandish, but still fun.
Well,
Honestly, that's what this entire series is to me. I mean, it's
Yeah,
fun. It's
that is exactly what it is on its
yeah.
face.
Like at the end of the day, it's just like, oh, cool. You know, I I watched something that was really fun and explodey, and that's it. Like that's what the films have always been to me.
Well, don't get me wrong. You can do films like that bad, like with the A Team again. A Team was a bad version of this kind of movie.
this was a bad version of this kind of movie.
What the fuck is going on in the background?
Yeah.
Heather's feeding the dogs.
Oh,
So, yeah, she chooses to do the most noisy activities while I'm trying to do the show.
that's fine.
Okay.
Just push her.
So anyway, remember in the A Team at the very beginning when they fly a foreign attack chopper into American airspace and it gets immediately shot down by um, American military jets?
Yes.
Yeah. This movie had an attack chopper flying around in American airspace and no military whatsoever anywhere. If there would have been a drone dispatched in LA area, the Navy would have been all over those guys in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
I mean, they're running around, and the only military organization that gets dispatched are 4 black and whites, and they're just chasing after guys driving fast. They're not even concerned about the cell tower exploding or the drone flying around shooting everything but its intended target, or the cars exploding, or the police officer cars exploding. No, they're just going after that one. They're going after Letty, who's driving really fast.
Well,
It's
yeah, bro. She's dangerous.
See now, if this movie won Best Comedy at the Golden Globes, I wouldn't argue the fact that it's not a comedy because it is hilarious.
No, I wouldn't argue with that either. It has more right to be there than Martian does.
It has a ton more right to be there than The Martian does. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with it winning that at all.
I would have actually had more respect for this movie had it won or even showed up in the comedy category.
Didn't it win like People's Choice for Best Action or something?
Probably. Which shows you, this is how celebrated this movie
Yeah.
is.
Favorite movie, favorite movie, and favorite action movie. Wow.
What are the odds of you driving a car off of a building onto another building and not hitting a load-bearing support beam or just landing in between floors?
That when you look at it from that perspective, yeah, it's very bad. But here's the crazy thing: somebody, a scientist, actually said, "Well, if you didn't hit anything, yeah, you could."
Yeah, you could survive.
Well, no, I just chalked it up to one of those crazy things that's just fun to watch. But
Yeah.
apparently, you really could do that.
Well, I could see it doing once. I can't see them doing it going to the second building. Like that's cutting their chances in half right there. And there's 50-50 chance already of them not hitting something.
Yeah,
And
well, if you take out like if it was just barren floors and you had predetermined like if you go through here you won't hit anything,
yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Apparently you could, and that the second one would be easier because you've already picked up momentum.
well, see that's the thing. They were trying to stop, and they're hitting a lot of support beams. They're mostly for walls and stuff, not for load bearing. But at this point, they would have, and they were trying to stop, so he wasn't like down on the accelerator, so they would have actually lost momentum. But what I don't understand is him being a driving guy, why didn't he either downshift or go into neutral and hit the e-brake? That would have stopped him before he got to the other side.
Again, another one of those dumb things that just kind of fun to watch.
Well, you can use that for maybe one or two things, and
It's
being
the
all
entire
like,
franchise.
it's yeah, it is.
That's
And
the motto for the whole franchise.
it's like they're in a scene where they show a tank drive through a truck. But yeah, when it comes to Tyrese's vehicle, and this is why Tyrese isn't going to die, when it comes to Tyrese's vehicle, the tank is just butting up against it. It doesn't roll over Tyrese's vehicle until Tyrese makes that ridiculous jump over to Brian's vehicle.
Yeah,
And that's
there are a
why
bunch of those ridiculous jumps.
Yeah, but that's why that is why this I don't think Tyrese is going to die, because they had many opportunity to kill him off. And Ludacris in this movie has kind of shown himself to be a badass. More of a badass than Tyrese is. So they're not going to kill him off.
I'm telling you right now that they're going to try to go for your jugular at some point and kill one of those two characters.
No, they're not going to do that.
They're going to pull at the heartstrings. Actually, moving a little. Well, we'll come back to it again in a second. But moving away from like the silly action stuff, like it's the actual like moments of acting in between that really bugged me in this movie. Like there's a lot of cliche lines and stuff.
There's cliche lines. There's flat acting. There are two characters in here talking about plot and character development. There are two characters in here that say that they're going to do things to the bad guy. Words haven't been invented on what we're going to do to the bad guy. And at the end of the movie, they just put him in jail. It's like there's all this bolstering, and not only does he live, but he comes away kind of without a scratch.
The two best actors in this film are the ones that are in it the least.
Ludacris?
No. Dwayne Johnson and fucking Kurt Russell.
I'll give you Kurt Russell. He actually did an amazing job in this movie. He could have taken these guys to school. But I think Michelle Rodriguez is a way better actor than The Rock.
In this movie, I can get behind Hobbs. I like the character. My problem with the main character, who's Vin Diesel, is Chuck Norrising his character.
He kind of is, and he was more lively in the first movie.
Yeah,
and he's just become monotone now.
Monotone, and he can do no wrong, and all of a sudden he's never received military training, but he can go against Jason Statham, who has, and he's able to. All of a sudden, he knows Kali and can fight with wrenches, with Kali techniques, and he can flip cars in midair and stuff like that. You've Chuck Norris.
Well, look at Brian. He went against Tony Jaa,
and got his ass handed to him for a little bit. When have you seen Toretto actually be like in real trouble in a fight?
Well, see, that's another thing. All of these guys get into these major fights where there's a lot of punches to the face, and they have very little, if any, scars or bleeding or wounds.
Right, but don't lie. You thought that fight in the fifth one with the first Dwayne Johnson installment was pretty bad.
In which one?
The one where they drag the car through the streets, Fast Five. Where they drag the safe through the streets.
Which was the one where Brian becomes the FBI officer?
That's the one before that. That's Fast and Furious, not the Fast and the Furious, just Fast and Furious.
So that's the number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. First off, the thing that really irritates me most about Brian's character is that whatever they need for that script, they'll make him. So, like, he was a criminal. He was a police officer in the first one. He's a disgraced police officer and criminal in the second one. Now he's an FBI officer in the fourth one. Yeah.
He
yep.
is. He is in this series what the lead character in Godzilla was. Always in the right place, always ready at the right time.
All these characters are that. But
Yeah.
it's like there's nothing in his training that would have prepared him to go, toe to toe against Tony Jaa. They should have just snapped his neck within the first 5 seconds of that fight.
What did you think of the send off?
I saw it before. I saw a really bad copy on YouTube shortly after the movie came out. Obviously recorded in the theater. It was okay. I understand why they did it, and it for the movie and for the franchise, it was touching in its own way, but I didn't think it was really needed. And then when you start to think about it, Brian and Dom's wives are still at the beach with the kids and the 2 black guys, and they're just off driving around. I mean, Dom leaves,
Whoa.
and he leaves
Whoa.
his wife at the beach.
Whoa. Okay.
What? No. What? If you had a wife and you were ready to go, wouldn't you take her with you? I mean, he just drives off. He doesn't say goodbye to anybody. He doesn't even say goodbye to his wife. He just drives off.
Just the way you worded that.
What?
You left your wives at the beach with 2 black guys.
I said, and the 2 black guys.
Someone's racist.
Okay, I know, right?
Okay, so that one might.
No, that was you, jackass.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Just immediately.
Maybe I read that wrong. Never mind.
You do realize that I say things, and then you immediately think that they're racist, which actually makes you more racist. Because you think everything is racist.
Okay, that's Donald Trump logic right now.
It's true, because I just said that these 4 characters, that the 2 women and the 2 black guys,
Well, why did you have to specify that they were the black guys, though?
Well, I also specified that the other 2 were women.
That's not the same thing. You said the wives.
Well, they are the wives. They've been upgraded from women to wives.
Ugh.
Okay, I'm sorry. The Dom and Brian.
No. Let's not make this
without their wives, without their kids, and without their sidekicks. Is that any better?
Actually, it is.
That's racist now.
See, exactly.
That they're sidekicks? Is Captain America racist?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you both say yeah, or was one of you no and the other yes?
No, we both said yes.
Okay, so Captain America is racist.
Yep.
Because he has a black sidekick.
All of Marvel is racist for that reason.
I will not argue.
But anyway, so I need to wrap this up here. So.
She said.
Well, actually, that's what he said. But so any closing thoughts on these movies, since we're not going to agree whether they're good or not?
I liked it. I never said it was bad.
Too.
Just because you like it doesn't. Just because
it's not a good
doesn't
movie.
mean it's good.
No. I like the film. It's a fun, like, if you're high on a Sunday and the remote's just a little bit too far out of your reach. Yeah, it's a good movie to watch.
I feel like he went in there with, like, Dark Knight expectations or something.
Honestly, and I was actually thinking about this the other day. It's hard for me to watch an action film that's not Dark Knight-like. I actually would love to see more movies like that versus movies like this. I mean,
how often do you get those, though?
Dark Knight movies? You don't get them often enough.
Yeah.
Movies like this are a dime a dozen. Almost. I will probably say.
Actually, I was going to point this out. You realize this is the.
What?
You dropped out. Still dropped
Who
out.
dropped out?
You did.
Okay. I was going to say, you realize this is the last original thing in the last 20 years, right?
A car chase movie? No, it's not original.
No, I'm talking about the franchise in itself. Everything else is comic books, video games, and much older franchises.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, technically, this would be an old franchise. I mean, how long has this been going on for? Like 15 years? When was the
Yeah.
first?
2000 something, 2001 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
So
everything else is Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and
well, that's the thing. You can't do a movie nowadays without thinking franchise.
yeah.
And the only way people like Quentin Tarantino get away with doing the movies that he does, because A, it kind of loosely is a franchise, but B, he does it for so little money that nobody cares. That they'll give him $30 million to go do, the Angry Eight, the Hateful Eight, and nobody cares because there's a good chance that he'll get that back eventually, and even if he doesn't, it's not that much money.
I would add a third thing there. Like some people are franchises into themselves. Like Will Smith could still open a movie.
Yeah.
Tarantino can open a movie because he's Tarantino and his name carries value.
Even though he can't do math to save his life.
What?
He can't do math.
I can't. Okay, I don't get that.
Math, it's that thing that you do with the numbers.
Right, but why can't Tarantino do it?
I don't know why he can't do
Yeah.
math, but he can't seem to count how many movies he did.
Oh, okay.
Because
Right.
what was the Hateful Eight? They're saying that was what, the 10th movie that he did? I forget what the number is.
I can name his movies off the top of my head, actually.
Do it.
There was the one fan film that came out before that. That's a lost film now, apparently. Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Kill Bills Volume 1 and 2.
Are those considered two different movies?
Yeah.
They came out separately.
Same story, but two different movies.
Yeah, I kind of missed two.
Okay.
What happened after Kill Bill?
Well, you forgot. Are you saying Reservoir Dogs was the lost treasure?
No, there was one before that, but thank you for pointing out Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
There was a fan film, or not a fan film. I don't know. I don't want to call it a student film because he did it on his own without school or anything.
Are you thinking Four Rooms?
It might be.
Well, see, he doesn't count 4 rooms though.
Yeah, exactly.
Because 4 rooms would be a quarter, and he never counts that quarter.
Well, no, wait. Isn't Four Rooms that thing he did with a bunch of other directors?
Yeah, him, Robert Rodriguez, and then like 2 other people.
No, it's not that. He has something else. I can't remember the title. I'm looking it up right now.
And does he really count that one? Oh wow, there's a episode 8 trailer out already.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
I'll have to watch that in a minute.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm looking it up right now. 1980s, and Christian co-wrote a movie called My Best Friend's Birthday. The final reel of the film was almost completely destroyed in a lab fire that occurred during editing, but its screenplay later formed the basis of True Romance.
Okay. See, that's the thing. Now, he doesn't count True Romance. He doesn't count.
No, he shouldn't.
Why? That's one of his films.
It's a film written by him, but that movie it's Tony Scott all the way through. I can see his visual styling in it. It's nothing. It's another director trying to do Quentin Tarantino aesthetics.
Yeah, but it would still be considered one of his films because if you act in it, if you write in it, if you direct in it, if you produce it, it's considered one of your films.
He didn't act in it.
No, he didn't act in it, but he wrote it. He wrote Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, he disavows it too. He says, "I would have done it. I would have done the end completely different." That's what he says.
Yeah, but
he doesn't count it.
He did From Dusk Till Dawn. His name, it's actually part of the tagline from Robert Rodriguez, from Quentin Tarantino, From Dusk Till Dawn. He never counts that one. He doesn't count When Destiny Turned On a Radio, which is a movie that he starred in. He didn't direct or write it, but he never counts that one. That would be considered one of his films. And they never say that these are the films that are just written and directed by him. They just say, Quentin Tarantino films. So
right, he endorsed and put his name on Man with the Iron Fist. Is that one of his movies?
He's a distributor in that, and distributors usually don't get any kind of billing or credit for it. Although people do think that he had something more to do with it than what he actually did, because people will see the Quentin Tarantino name on that and think that he either directed it, wrote it, or produced it. But it's presented in a way that he is the one who's distributing it for America. So you wouldn't really consider that one of his films, although some people do because they see his name emblazoned at the very top of the DVD case. So why not count that as one of his films if you're going to put your name on it?
I think when you say a Quentin Tarantino film, everybody expects him to direct it.
Well, if you say that it was a Dwayne Johnson film, do you expect Dwayne Johnson to be directing?
No, I expect him to star in it because I know Dwayne Johnson is an actor. I know Quentin Tarantino as a director. Does he act? Yes, but nobody really cares about his acting. They go for his direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether he's directing in it or starring in it. These are considered your films.
Okay,
I mean, I will even give you the writing. I'll take out the writing ones, but he still acted in films that he does not, take credit for.
Okay. So that means True Romance is not one of his films.
We'll remove that in Natural Born Killers, but he still doesn't take credit for From Dusk Till Dawn, and he doesn't take credit for Four Rooms.
Okay, so he says he's directed 10.
Something like that. I forget what the number is.
Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Volume 1, 2, Death Proof, Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, and The Hateful Eight.
How many is that?
That's 9.
Okay.
And the only other thing I know that has ever listed that he directed is my best friend's wedding, whatever the hell that is. So that's 10.
He's directed a couple episodes of
CSI.
He partly directed Sin City. He came in to do a segment in that, which he doesn't take credit for. Apparently, he directed a episode of Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Really?
He directed an episode of ER. My Best Friend's Birthday is the one you're looking for, and then Lovebirds in Bondage, which was a short unfinished film. So even all of his directed films don't get credit. And the 2 episodes that he did for CSI is a 2-parter, so it would technically be a movie's worth of episode. It made for TV movie, but a movie nonetheless. I mean, Steven Spielberg did a made for TV movie, and he still counts that as a movie.
I feel like if he feels like he's directed like 10 films, he's directed 10 films.
Well, I feel like I've directed 100 films.
Okay, then you've directed 100 films.
Doesn't make it so. It just makes me bad at math.
Okay. I mean, if he, all right, okay, whatever.
Okay.
The man only acknowledges 10, apparently.
So, whose turn is it to pick a film this week? Is it mine?
Mario.
No, because Mario did the TV show that we watched.
Yeah, because I did Firefly last week.
No, you.
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah, I thought Shame was last week.
Suck a dick, so it is my turn, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Ha!
Okay, you're right.
Man, I was not prepared for this.
Uh,
Oh,
did you actually ever see Shame there?
yes,
Mario?
I did. I did check it out.
Did you want to give us your impressions of it real quick?
It was a lot less rough than I was anticipating for. Like, I was able to make it through without... I was able to make it all the way through. I thought it was going to be, like
gory and gritty and shit?
Not gory and gritty. More gritty than anything else. I thought it was going to physically and emotionally drain me, but I was able to make it through all the way.
Well,
it's a rough film. I mean, I'll admit, because once you start getting into his life and everything, it's just it's hard. I don't know how else to put that.
Yeah. I will say that it did emotionally and physically drain me, but probably because I have more of a connection to the film, because I see it as more of a documentary than I do a narrative.
I'm glad you actually say that, because films like that and like really kind of like serious and gritty films like that force you to kind of like turn the subject matter or the plot inward, and makes you think about your process of thinking and how you would handle that situation. You begin introspection at that point, and it's just I can see where it'd be emotionally draining.
All right. So one last wrap up. I have a question for you about Fast and Furious 7.
Oh,
Would you guys purposely watch this movie again?
no.
I have.
Really? This is multiple viewings for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't, Mario?
No. Honestly, after the one that we saw, what was it, fourth, fifth?
Something like that. I don't know.
I saw the first one. I enjoyed it.
hmm
It was just a fun movie. Second one came around.
Not so fun.
I didn't watch it. Actually, I did, but it was over at a friend's house. We were high and drunk, and then he put it on because he liked it.
I feel like that's how you watch most movies.
Yeah. It helps me appreciate the art a little bit more. Art, let me say loosely for these films. Art.
I think
There
you
you
need that to find the art in these films.
Yeah.
Well, I will give you that there is a lot of, they're giving work to stuntmen, so that's a good thing.
Oh, definitely. And, for the work that it physically produces, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's just not my type of film.
And it does get the economy going. I'll give you that, too. That,
Yeah.
People spend...
And the best part is it gets the economy around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially in
I love
third world, especially in third world countries, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I won't ever watch this movie again. I saw it once. That was it.
That's
I'm
good
cool.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might do this one a second time just to, check it out to see if I missed anything. But yeah, it's not on my list of things to do immediately.
Exactly.
Well, before we go, I want to ask the director, like you, Alex.
Yeah.
Have you seen Insidious?
Insidious, I have, but I forget what it's about.
Okay, same director for both. What do you think of the director so far? Because I feel like it's like he's one really good director split in half. Because Insidious seems like it's just like, I haven't seen the full movie, but it seems like it's very character driven, and like most horror movies, it kind of goes to the reactions of the person going through it. And then you have this movie, which is just like big spectacle.
Well, wait, did James Wan do this last Fast and Furious movie, or did he just produce it?
No, he directed it.
I thought it was somebody else who directed it.
No, it was somebody. I forgot the other guy, but yeah.
Yeah. As far as the Insidious movie, the first one goes, that one was really, really good. That one was actually pretty original and inventive, and I really liked it.
And he did The Conjuring too. I don't know if you've seen that.
No. I'm looking at. He did Saw. He did the first Saw, which the first Saw was really good, also very, very groundbreaking and inventive. It looks like he's going to do Aquaman in a couple years.
Which after seeing this movie, yeah, he could do that. I'm just worried about him actually kind of like getting it down to character driven.
As far as him doing this movie, though, I think he did the best job that he could with what he had, which was $1 billion and a bunch of stars and a already thriving franchise. So he didn't kill it off by any stretch of the imagination. I think that he had fun with it. I fully believe that he went into this thinking we're just gonna fuck some shit up and have a party, and that's the vibe that I get off of it.
He did Death Sentence too. I like that movie.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's the Kevin Bacon revenge thriller.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that one yet though, but that one I heard really good things about. So like this sounds like a movie that he did for the paycheck. That he's just he probably walked in hungover, wearing sunglasses, put his feet up on the desk, and was all like, "How much money are you giving me? Who's gonna be in my movie? Does it matter that I haven't read the script yet? All right, just back the truck full of money up to my house. We'll start."
I think that hurts him because again, I feel like he's this really really good director, just broken in half at this point.
No, like I said, he probably did this for the paycheck. They probably backed a dump truck full of money to his house. And he's like, yes, and now he can go and do more stuff like Death Sentence or Insidious, like Insidious, The Conjuring 2. Wait, he produced that. Never mind. Yeah, to go back to directing.
Aquaman.
Oh yeah, he's doing Conjuring 2. Aquaman. Hopefully he'll bring what he brought with Insidious and with all these other movies to Aquaman, and not what he took from Fast and Furious. Or if he does like an amalgamation of those two things. If he does an
Yeah.
amalgamation of those two things, he might actually do a really good Aquaman movie, especially if they go a little bit more brooding with it. Because Aquaman, the new character, is kind of more brooding. He's a little too Batman-y right now. They should lighten him up a little bit, but I think this director could bring that out in him and make it look good.
Yeah. I want Conan of the Seas, basically.
Kind of a little more serious Conan of the Seas, but yeah, I can see that. So
He directed that.
yeah. So Mario, what have you had time to think about what you want us to watch this week? And are you actually going to watch it? And are you actually going to be here to discuss it?
Yes. No. Wait. Yes, I will.
So what's the movie?
Ex Machina.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
It's on if you guys don't want to watch it on, or if you guys don't want to download it or anything, it's 99 cents on Amazon for Amazon Prime. It's on iTunes. It's on.
It was on Netflix for a while, wasn't it?
No. The Ex Machina that just came out.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of a
No.
different machine movie.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the.
No, you're thinking of Deus Ex,
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
which, by the way, is a really good film.
Yeah.
No, but let's do Ex Machina. I
Yeah.
haven't seen it this year yet, and I everybody says it's good.
Is this up for an Academy Award?
I don't think it's up for an Academy Award, but I heard that the CGI in this film. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's going for Best Original Screenplay.
Okay.
But I heard the CGI in this film was fucking out of this world.
It looked pretty good.
So it's getting a nom for Best Visual Effects, which I would
Rightfully
agree.
so. Yeah.
Everybody's been talking about. So it's going for Best Screenplay, Visual Effects. Apparently, it won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actress.
Really?
Yeah. BAFTA Award, which is like, it's essentially SAG. Award for Outstanding Debut by an Up-and-Comer, Alex Garland. It won Best British Film, again, BAFTA.
Yeah.
Alicia Vikander. Okay.
Yeah. Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. Empire Award. I'm not too sure what that one is, actually. But it got...
Empire Magazine, I think, or Empire Records, like that.
But it has AACTA International Award for Best Screenplay.
So it's getting some recognition.
Yeah, it's got the Producers Guild Award for Best Film. It's got the BAFTA Award for Best Effects, Costume Designers, European Film Award. I mean, this film is it's up there. I mean, the shit that it's gotten. I mean, it looks really good as well.
You pulled in that trifecta: Academy, BAFTA, and Golden Globe. You're no joke.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and it's got a 7.7 on IMDb, if that really means anything to us. But so I'm excited to see the film itself.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm probably gonna watch it today because today's my day off.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, if you want to check us out on the internet, you can go over to our homepage, which is...
What is it?
I'll tell you what it is. It's mof.ninja.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you that first time. What was it?
It is mof.ninja. MOF like Makers on Film .ninja. Like ninja. If you don't know what a ninja is by now in this point in your life, then maybe you should read a book about ninjas.
If you don't know what a ninja is at this point of your life, you're lame, basically.
Maybe you're just pretending you don't know what ninjas are because you're on the run from them. We know who you are.
Chuck Norris is available. Give him a call. He'll take care of that for you.
He'll explain to you what they are, and he'll protect you from them.
Yeah, he and Steven Seagal will totally help you.
Well, Chuck Norris was trained by Bruce Lee, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He's still Chuck Norris, though.
Yeah. But, so Ex Machina for next week, and thank you, Jamal, for joining us this week. And thank you, Mario, for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Maybe.
I love you all.
Hey, that's my line.
Somebody had to say it.
You're still a bitch.
Join the makers each week as they discuss film, TV, and pop culture. To learn more about them, go to mof.ninja. This is Jason Statham saying goodbye.
I hope you have fun at work tonight.
I hope you have fun in your room full of dicks.
I will.
Oh, that was almost scripted. It was so good.
That was pretty good.